It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Hello to all. Welcome to Divas That Care Network. I am Joyce Benning, and I will be your host for this absolutely invigorating, robust lifestyle show. I want to take a moment and thank each one of our listeners that have tuned in live today and the ones that will be listening to the recording on the different podcasts. I am just so very grateful and thankful for each and every one of you listeners. And you are all in for an amazing show today, as I have with me my returning incredible diva, Gia Raquel. And her and I are going to continue our Chakra Connection chat. This is actually part 4. So if you have missed the other 3, please go back on the podcast platforms and listen to them, because there is so much knowledge that Gia has shared in each one of them. So with that, I'm going to let Gia introduce herself to our listeners today.
Hi, Joyce. Thank you so much for having me back. Every time we do this, I feel like we're just touching on the tip of an iceberg. But it's all for the good, and hopefully the people are, able to appreciate and accept kind of what we go into for not only their healing, but hopefully the healing of their loved ones, their whether they be furry or otherwise. So my name is Gia Raquel Rose, owner of Airs Above Yoga, and I basically do work with private clients. I do Reiki, I do private yoga online and in person, and I really have started to tap a little more into the energetic side. Kind of since COVID, actually, when I got my Reiki certification. And so I'm very much into energetic healing, what it can do for, your intuition, bringing positive energy into your life, and helping yourself and the people around you heal. So there are lots of fun ways to do that, and yoga is one of them as well.
Oh, wow. Oh, Gia. You just shared so much in your introduction, and I love the energetic side, because there is so much on that. We could talk for hours, I believe, on just the energetic side alone, and everything that it can do to help with everything. It is just amazing. So with that, how would you like to open our show today as we continue on the Chakra Connection?
So just because of what today is, it is a new moon, just in case. So I'm also, obviously, with yoga and all the energy work, I'm a big fan of moon cycles and feminine energy, and kind of aligning with those cycles a bit. And because we just happen to have this beautiful moment together on a new moon, I'd like to touch a little bit about one of my favorite yoga sequences, which is much lesser known to sun salutes, which get a lot of attention. Vinyasa classes are always about the sun salutes, and they are heating and wonderful and just fabulous for your body. But one of my favorites is a moon salute, and it is much more gentle, much less heating, and much more, in my humble opinion, aligned with feminine energy. And it also has a lot of postures included with it that help with the chakras. So to briefly touch, because this is our 4th, and I don't want to inundate our listeners with repetitive information, but just so that people listening to maybe this one have an idea, your chakras are a system of kind of energy centers within the body, starting at the base of the spine and moving all the way up through the crown of the head. They mimic the colors of the rainbow, and in essence, each is responsible for not only physical attributes, ailments, or healthy, development of a healthy chakra will have that part of your body feeling good. But they also have a lot of different ways to heal, with sound healing, yoga to open the flow of energy in the body, gemstones and crystals, which I hope we touch on today if we don't run out of time, essential, even foods and the colors that you choose to wear that day. So there are lots of ways that you can bring your chakras into balance. Yoga is one of the very, I'm not going to say the best, but I'm a yoga teacher, so I will say the best because I'm partial. Yoga is a very, very good way to start and tap into your chakras and your energy, right, from a physical point of view, which is usually pretty accessible for most people. So briefly, go ahead. Any questions so far?
No, I just went, I'm amazed. Everything you just said already. I'm jotting down notes. So, yes, you just please continue.
Thank you, Joyce. I just try to squeeze as much into our sessions as I can, right? So, in essence, beginning at the base of the spine, moving up through the crown of the head, you have a root chakra, which is the color red, basically located at the base of the pelvis, at the bottom of the pelvis and the tailbone. You then have a sacral chakra, which is the color orange and located just below the belly button at the center of the body. Above the belly button, just above that, is your yellow energy center, your solar plexus chakra, your seat of power. Above that, again, my favorite chakra, your heart chakra, is the color green, and it's located in and around your heart. Above that, again, mimicking the rainbow, there is a blue chakra that is associated with your throat, your voice, your ability to communicate. And above that is an indigo, so a darker blue chakra that is associated with your third eye, your intuition, receiving things from guidance in the universe, however you like to receive things. And then above that is your crown chakra, and that is a lavender color that is directly associated with your connection to whatever it is for you. There is never any judgment, whether it's the universe, whether it's God, whether it's Mother Earth, whatever it is that you feel in alignment to. The crown chakra is your connection to your soul, your source energy, the source energy around us. So that's kind of the most brief I can make an introduction to the chakras at most base level. That's kind of an idea. And we've touched a little bit on how, you can make it as simple as eating the food associated with that color. So if you want to stimulate your solar plexus chakra, you can eat a banana. The root chakra is really in tune with proteins to support your base, your base needs. The blue of blueberries and blackberries is going to bring that intuition from the third eye chakra in. And leafy greens and vegetables are always good for us, and so that's going to support your heart. So again, just little things, little ways that we can, definitely get into the literal aspect of associating color with the chakra and healing or helping to boost that chakra. The same as putting on a red dress, or an orange dress and stimulating that creativity or that root chakra again. So literally it can be as simple as that, and then we can get to the very, very different flip side and get very, very complicated with it as well. But for our intents and purposes, we're going to keep it as short and sweet as we can.
Oh, that is just perfect. And I love how it can just be it's so simple, the clothes you wear or the foods you eat. If you're feeling you need, like on the throat chakra, you need something, just put on something blue and how it can affect that. I love that. I just love how the colors you wear or the foods you eat can affect each one of those chakras. That is just wonderful.
It can be that simple. And again, you're trying to boost, right, to bring awareness, bring attention to, be mindful of those areas in your body that may or may not feel like they need a little bit of extra love or attention. And I know we've talked a lot because, as you know, Joyce, I'm a big fan of animals. I have a few myself, as I know you do as well. And they have chakra systems too. So I know that we've touched on helping to heal animals as well. And we've had a lot of focus there, and I want to continue that focus. But because of the new moon today, I want to shift a little bit to the yoga side and how different yoga postures can actually support the chakras as well. And, if for people that are unfamiliar with moon cycles, and again, to keep it very simple, the new moon is all about setting intentions. It's about restarting, refreshing, releasing that which no longer serves. Like those are the ideas behind the new moon. When it comes to the full moon, that is generally the culmination of the seeds of intention that you planted at the new moon. And then, as we all know, the cycle tends to repeat. So one of the things that I really like to do, and my private client tomorrow morning will be getting a moon salute for sure. So what I love about it is that it's a series of postures that are actually performed laterally on the mat, whereas a sun salute is basically front to back on the mat. It's actually lateral, and it incorporates very grounding postures such as malasana, which is a garland pose, which is a very, very deep squat. And that is a very, very positive grounding posture that supports the health of your root chakra. It brings you closer to the earth. And then it also has poses such as triangle pose, which is a great hip opener. And hip openers, are very, very supportive and helpful for your sacral chakra, your creativity, and your sexual organs and the ability to release. Then we also have poses such as a low lunge, which are heart opening. They lift up, they bring your chest up, they open your heart, they open your space. And it even incorporates poses such as pyramid, which is a lot of times anytime you are facing downward, so in a pose like downward dog, in a pose like pyramid, and it's a little hard to kind of explain if you're not familiar with yoga. It is a standing, I'll call it half split, where one leg is forward, one leg is slightly back, and it's a very deep hamstring stretch, and you're bringing the crown of your head towards the floor. I think a lot of people have a familiarity with downward dog, and all of those postures where your head is bowed, those are all very, very strong intuition, crown chakra support systems. So another way to kind of get into the different postures, and when you link through them in a flow, you really do get to open and channel that energy. So another one of my favorites is goddess pose, and the moon flutes incorporate goddess pose as well. But that's for me, even though it's a hip opener, it's a deep hip opener. It actually, because it's so empowering and, harnesses that female energy that I believe kind of goes in alignment with a moon and the new moon, I find it to be very stimulating for the solar plexus as well. So there are lots and lots of yoga postures that will support, all of them in some way support one chakra or another. But I know I've just said a lot of things. Do you have any questions so far before I continue on?
Oh, I just love it. I love how you said the goddess pose harnesses the female energy, and you kind of touched on the female energy goes along with the new moon. And oh wow, that is just a perfect fitting for Divas That Care, because a community of women working together. So I love that, right? Making the world a better place. And when we all feel good, we're able, I always say it starts with ourselves, get ourselves feeling good, and then we can help others in so many ways. And you're just touching on so many ways that we can make ourselves feel better. So, yes, I loved it. Just keep on going, girl.
So, and again, so a lot of it has to do with the flow. And when you're talking about chakra healing and using yoga as a way to do that, keeping, there are so many different types of yoga. Hatha yoga, obviously, is your kind of basic, like your intro to, and it teaches you the poses. Vinyasa yoga starts to create a flow. And a lot of times there are benefits to both. Holding a pose statically will give you a much deeper communion between yourself and that pose, whereas a flow really gets the energy moving. And that's what I like about a new moon and a moon salute together, because you are literally taking your physical body and theoretically purging it, moving the energy through it, getting to release. And, a lot of times people will talk about how they cry in a yoga class, and they don't realize why. It just comes on all of a sudden. It's actually happened to me. Luckily, it wasn't a class. I was doing my own yoga, but it happens for people. And the reason for that is because people store your stress, your trauma. It is stored in your body. You might not think it. You might not realize it. But anytime you're going through something in your life that is unpleasant in any way, your body literally wraps it in your cells. And yoga is one of the, I'm not going to say the only way. There's definitely ways to move energy through the body, but yoga is one of the most comprehensive ways to get into all the nooks and crannies, if you will, of your body and start to release that stress that is accumulating within your cells, within your organs, within your energy centers, within your chakras. So when you have, say, so I'll use my own example. I will say that a lot of people that I speak with, hip openers do it for whatever reason, whether it's a pigeon pose, which is a very deep hip opener, whether it is, a deep squat like a malasana that's part of moon salute. It oftentimes will associate with whatever chakra needs healing. It's going to be where you store your emotional trauma, your stress, whatever it might be. And for me, I remember I was practicing on my own, and I was sitting in my bedroom, and I did a very deep twist to the left, and I just started crying. And twists are associated with the heart chakra. So I clearly had some pent up something stuck in my rib cage on my left side that was associated directly with my heart chakra. So yoga is a very powerful tool for humans to be able to start to open their chakras up to be healed, because, you can't, if you don't know what the problem is, you can't heal it.
Mm-hmm. So true.
So you have to start to become one, you have to start to listen to your body, be mindful of yourself, your energy, where it's lacking, where it's, it can be the opposite. You can have an overdeveloped chakra, and it can, kind of run roughshod with your existence, right? So, keeping them all in balance is key. And yoga is a very, very positive way for people to start to tap into that energy, start to really listen to their bodies, start to understand these kind of nuanced things that, we want to run around with our daily lives and we don't pay attention because outside influences affect us. And so we live in a state of reactivity rather than proactivity. And I know that I am definitely guilty of that. So, to that end, what I like about those moon salutes is that they incorporate a standing. They begin, much like the new moon, with a very tall, long, arms overhead, standing crescent side bend, right? So that, again, gets into a few different things. It can kind of help to open up if you tuck the chin a little bit and lengthen through the spine. When you do that, it can help to tap into the throat chakra. It helps to align the upper chakras with the arms reaching up towards the sky, and kind of leaves you in a direct line of energy between the earth beneath you, the universe above you, and your body as a conduit to both in the middle. So it really does hit into all of the chakras, and it's one of my favorite things to do. And I just had my client say to me, I think it was a week or two ago, she said, they weren't really my favorite at the beginning. She's like, but they're growing on me. I'm really starting to appreciate them because they move your body in every plane. And they are a wonderful way to release and flow that energy through the body so that you can start to align those chakras, become intimate with them, intimate with yourself, and be able to truly begin to heal from within.
Oh, how beautiful. And it's just so amazing that through yoga it can help to heal all of this. And it's just by movement and just letting that energy flow and letting the trauma escape from your body, releasing it. Like you said, purge it out and let the good energy come in. And I love that. I'm just love every word you've been saying, because it is something that is so simple, really, because it's just movement within your body and helping to release all of that. And yes, there's so much to yoga, but yet it is something that we can learn to do, and with knowledgeable ones like you to teach us yoga like this, it is just beautiful how it helps release the trauma and bring in the energy, everything that there is so many benefits is what I am hearing through just doing yoga with the movements of yoga. So, absolutely wonderful, Gia. I love it. I'm going to let you keep going.
Thank you. Well, and that's what it's all about, right? So a lot of people, and I like for yoga to be accessible to all. I think I've said that, pretty much every time we've had a conversation since I was welcomed into your universe and Divas That Care. I just believe that some people can be turned off by the spiritual side of it. And I don't want those people to be turned off by that. I want them to understand that it can be a purely physical release for people if that's where you need to meet them, right? You always have to meet people where they are. If there's one thing that I've learned in life, you cannot control the actions or the emotions of other people. All you can do is hold space and be there in the best way that you can to support the people around you. And so I think that with yoga and a lot of people might even balk at the idea of the chakras, right? It might go against their internal belief system. So, but I still want this information to be out there and say, maybe you don't believe it, but maybe eat a banana if you want to have a really good interview. You know what I mean? Or maybe, if you are feeling really confused and you really, really would like some guidance, maybe you just go get a bunch of blueberries and you eat those. And I know I had a grand plan, and I always laugh as a yoga instructor. Right? When I first started, I used to write all of my course material out. I would write the whole class out, and very type A. And then one student would come into that class, and the whole plan would be right out.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Now I can hear you good. You're awesome.
I don't know what happened.
I'm not sure either. Well, we will continue because you just said we kind of ended on, you said you can have a schedule and you'll come to class and everything changes.
Yes. And I think the universe just gave us a very, very clear example of when things happen that are out of your control.
Oh, so very true.
Right? And so you just have to learn to roll with it.
Yes, definitely. Just like you do in your class. You definitely have to learn to flow.
Exactly. Go ahead.
What I was going to ask you, I know we're coming to a close on this show, unfortunately, because you and I know could chat for hours. The first thing I'm going to ask is, will you please return to Robust Lifestyles? Because we have so much more to chat about, and you have so much more to share with our listeners. I am just, like I said, every time we chat, I have a whole page of notes, and I'm going, oh my, I'm learning so much. I know our listeners are too. So will you please return so you and I can continue?
Absolutely. You can count on me, Joyce. It's my pleasure.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, would you please share with our listeners the ways that they can connect with you, and maybe even real briefly some of the options that they have being remote or in person? If you would please share that too, so our listeners that are not in your area can say, I need to connect with her because she can connect with me remotely. So if you could please share that before we close, I would sure appreciate it, Gia.
Absolutely, Joyce. Thank you. So I can be reached at airsAboveyoga.com, AIRSABOVE. I can also be found on social media at Airs Above Yoga. And essentially, if you are not located in the immediate tri-state area around New Jersey in the U.S., then I can work with you via Zoom for private yoga sessions, and I can even work with you and or your animals and do distance healing with Reiki as well. So there are lots of ways that I can still support the space for you, for your animals, and hopefully to, start with yourself and bring the healing around you to others.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing that. And I am just going to add on Gia's remote. It is incredible because I've used her already on the Reiki with my horse, my mare, and we are going to do it again this week. So when Gia returns in December, her and I will have another experience on a remote Reiki session that we're going to share about my mare. So I am just so excited. So Gia, I just want to thank you so much for being on Robust Lifestyles today and for all the knowledge you shared and everything you do. And I want to wish you absolute magic in every day that follows until we connect again on Robust Lifestyles.
Thank you, Joyce. It's always my pleasure, and I can't wait for Wednesday.
Oh, I am excited too, and so is my mare. She even said this morning, she said, I am excited for Wednesday because I told her it's day after tomorrow, and she says, oh, good. So it will be a great session. So thank you again.
It will.
Gia.
Thank you.
Yes, it will. Oh, awesome. And I want to thank all of our listeners for listening to this amazing show with our absolutely incredible and knowledgeable diva, Gia Riquel. Please share this show with your family and friends. Check out all the other hosts and their shows on divasthatcare.com. And remember some of the things she said about letting the energy flow and how yoga can help release that trauma in your life and let that beautiful energy flow. And just in every way, we are each on our own journey. And Gia is one of them that is there to help you on your journey in whatever way that may be, through yoga or Reiki, in distance or in person. So I just want to tell each one of you to have an absolute magical day. Remember, be kind to all. Give your animals that great big extra hug and share all your love with them because they so deserve it. And until we connect again on Robust Lifestyles, stay strong and healthy.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.